Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irene. If you've already subscribed or you've been to my channel before, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about the makeup or breakup part of a relationship. Breaking up is hard to do. Probably the hardest decision you'll ever have to make in your life. Because when you love someone, you want to be with that person. And when you are approached with the situation that makes you have to decide whether or not you want to be with that person, it gets very stressful. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is because I actually just finished watching a YouTube video of a young lady. She's 26 years old. She's struggling with the makeup or breakup part of her relationship. And I'm 52 years old, going on 53, and I've been in that situation where I had to make a decision whether or not I wanted to stay in a relationship or end the relationship. And so I can totally relate to what she's talking about and what she's going through. Also, recently, I've had to talk to a friend, a very close friend, about the same situation. So this topic is going to touch on a lot of situations that you might be able to resonate with. But this young lady, I'm going to talk about 3 different situations, which would be this young lady, my friend, and myself. So this young lady has a young child. She's very young. She's financially stable, so she didn't need her child's father in her life to financially support her. But they have a child together, and a small child together. And she, this is probably her second boyfriend that she's had in her life in her 26 years. And so she is struggling with the mental stress that this relationship is putting her through. Because right now she has to decide whether or not she wants to be in the relationship, whether or not she wants this person back in her life so that they can raise their child together. I think I know what the circumstances are for the reason why they're not together. She didn't say in her video why she kicked him out of her house, but I think I know why. And she's also struggling with telling her friends why she kicked him out and telling her family why she kicked him out. And also I'm struggling with what people are telling her to do, like what decision they think is right for her. And with that said, I want to talk about the decision factor. And that's why I want to talk to you about my friend. So my friend is in her relationship for, I'm going to say 20 years. I think 20 years. And her and her husband of 20 years weren't getting along. And she also found out some stuff that made her feel like she has to end the relationship. So immediately she starts telling people how she's feeling. And right away when you feel deceived, you want to jump into making a decision, because the deception part of the relationship makes you just want to curl up into a ball and cry all day, and you never want to talk to that person ever again if it was possible. But I want to tell you that it probably takes a full year or more to make a decision on whether or not you want to end a relationship that has been this long, 15 years, 20-year relationship. Like, it takes a really long time to decide that you want to end the relationship. And so after she found out what she found out, she told me, a couple other friends, she told his mom, she told relatives, and of course everyone's gonna say, leave the guy or end the relationship, which is not always a good decision. So she told me, and obviously I apologized that she's been hurt, and I apologized, that she's going through what she's going through, because nobody wants to see a friend or family member hurt. So I said, well, we decided after talking, like, let's go spend the weekend together. Let's get away for a little while. And so we did that. And for one whole year, we just talked about it. She cried about it. We spent weekends together, weekdays together. We laughed, we cried. And throughout this 1 year, I supported whatever decision that she wanted to make. But now in my friend's relationship, or my friend's life, she can actually financially support herself as well. She did not need her husband to financially support her. So she could have ended the relationship and lived a great life by herself. But throughout the year, I kept asking her, could you see yourself not being with him? And she'd always come back to like, no, like she didn't want to end this relationship that she had invested so much time in. So then I supported that. I said, then don't leave him. Don't get divorced. Also, she was very nervous and very scared about the whole divorce thing. She didn't want anything to do with it. So then I said, well, if you're so scared about it, then don't do it. Don't divorce your partner based on what society thinks you should do. I think that when people are hurt in the relationship, or they're arguing, or they're mad at their significant other, of course they go to their friends and they go to their family members and they talk and they say the worst things about their partner that they can pull out of a hat. They say the worst things. And so your friends and your family, like, they get the worst of the worst. And because they don't want to see you hurt, their advice is then leave him. And I'm talking to women right now in this video. But that is not always the right choice for everyone. But you can take this advice whether you are female or male, because it happens both ways. Now, I will say that 1 year later, almost to the day, she is still with her husband. They actually just bought a new house and they are getting along great. And it took a year for her to cry and be mad and be upset and talk about him and scream or do whatever she needed to do. And then she made a rational decision. So I'm just saying that when things happen in your relationship, don't jump into a decision right away. That is not the right choice. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about my relationship, my past relationship. When I was married, I was with my ex-spouse for 22 years. We had 2 children. And throughout our relationship, it was very rocky. We had ups and downs. And it was somewhat abusive. And I always wanted to leave. Almost every 90 days, I wanted to leave. And I was in the relationship for 22 years. But when I finally decided that I was going to leave, it probably took me a good 3 years to get myself situated and to figure out where I was going to go and how I was going to end it. Now, I was in a totally different situation than these other 2 women that I just talked about. I worked a full-time job, but was I capable of supporting 2 children with my income by myself? And also, did I want to raise my 2 children by myself? And did I want to be a single mother? So with that said, I had decisions that I had to make. And this decision wasn't just about me, it was about my children. The verbal abuse was behind closed doors, so my children weren't always around when this was happening, so they didn't even know. And I was at work, 10 hours a day, so I was able to kind of put up with it. Was it healthy? Absolutely not. But it was a decision that I had to make for myself. I selfishly decided to stay in the relationship for my children. Everybody's situation is different. And for me, that was the decision that I had to make. But when my children were almost adults, well, one was an adult and the other one wasn't. The other one was 17. when I ended the relationship. One was 21 and the other one was 17 when I ended the relationship. It was a big decision, and I also want to mention that throughout my 22 years in my relationship, I talked to my friends and I told people about my relationship. I told my friends and my family how unhappy I was. But you know what? We are not guaranteed happiness, especially when we're with another person who has been raised different than you, has different values than you. I actually have to get going because my dog is panting. The sun is beating on her right here. Even though I have the air conditioner on, she's not happy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take her home, and I will continue the video, and I will continue to talk to you about relationship decision making. Actually, I want to say that the first 4 years are the toughest because you're getting to know your partner. But I don't even think that is true, because relationships are hard, and the relationships are a work in progress all the time, because there's communication, there's lack of communication, there's jobs and stress and financial situations that you're in with your partner. It's a struggle to be in a relationship, but also it's a struggle to be alone. So the decision to leave your relationship immediately after a fight or a breakup or a dispute is wrong. I will say give yourself some time. Now, with that said, I want to go back to the first relationship. Now, this is just a YouTuber that I'm watching, but she did kick her boyfriend out of the house, and they haven't been speaking for a few months now because of his job not allowing them some time. But if I look back at my relationships, I would say that giving yourself time to figure out what you really want in the relationship is probably the best thing for your relationship. If I could have just taken breaks in between, and I'm not saying breaks to be with someone else or choose a different partner, I'm saying breaks as in like I just need a break, that probably would have saved my relationship.